Hello and welcome. My name is Tahlia Mihel, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the Post-it essay plan. I'm sure everyone has students in the classroom who absolutely dreads the act of essay writing, and no matter how much you implore them, the idea of getting them to complete a scaffold seems almost impossible as we try and build them into the skill of writing an essay. The purpose of this essay planning activity is to ensure that your class walks away with not one, but up to 6 different essay plans that students are able to have a look at and use to help guide them into the act of essay writing. Now, it's important to note that this essay plan is exactly as it says, a plan. It is not a completed essay. And I really recommend that you still take the time to go through with your class in relation to the active act of writing an essay, including an introduction and conclusion, and how we can build in cohesive devices to better support their understanding of the structural elements of an essay. So, how does this activity work? You will need a complete lesson time to do this, with anywhere between 40 and 80 minutes, up to you in relation to how long you allow your students to spend time working on each element of the essay. So you will be setting your classroom up with 6 key different stations. And these 6 different stations will be set up clearly around the classroom, with each station holding an A3 piece of paper, a sheet of paper, with an essay question at the top of this sheet of paper. What that means is your students will be exposed to up to 6 different essay questions as they move around the class to help look at the plan and to look at how they can apply their knowledge of their text, whatever you're studying in class, to their essay questions. Now, you place these students in groups of 3 to 4. It's up to you in relation to how you look at your group work, but I always try and look at pairing students with those who I know are quite comfortable with the text, and maybe some of the students who find that they struggle with the text, they're not sure how to identify particular elements, or they're still developing the idea or terminology around analyzing a text. Once they are at their station, they're given their first set of activities. So station 1 involves an essay thesis statement development. What you're encouraging students to do there is look at the key terms behind the question, what it's actively asking them to do, and to choose a stance or a position that they think is the most appropriate to take in relation to building a thesis. I always encourage the students to write more than one thesis statement and then to work together as a group to vote for their favorite. Whatever thesis statement they choose as their favorite, they are going to be writing onto a Post-it note. My preference is always lined Post-it notes because it gives them a clear space in terms of how they're writing and where they're writing it. And that Post-it note is going to stay on their page for the first of the stations. From that, you're going to clearly instruct students to move to their second station. At this point, they're going to be developing some body paragraph points that support the thesis that was crafted by the previous group. So they've moved to their next station at this point, and they're going to identify 3 key body paragraph points that will support the thesis developed by the previous group. This gets students to make sure they're connecting the terminology of their thesis back to their body paragraph points, and it makes sure that they're checking and assessing that they're staying on task in relation to connecting the wording from the question back to their main ideas. I try and change Post-it note colors at this point because it allows students to see how that might differentiate as they're going and looking at the different ideas. I always encourage them to come up with 3 diverse elements. So that gives them 3 clear elements to be exploring as they start to do their station 3, 4, and 5, which is their evidence sets. Once they have finished writing their 3 key body paragraph points, they leave that on the page on the station that they're at, stand up, and we're off to the 3rd station. At this point, they arrive to yet another essay question. They are able to see the Post-it note thesis of the first group and the body paragraph points that have been developed by the second group. Now, because they are starting to have to engage with previous groups of students' work, I really encourage that you give them an extended amount of time to be able to read these ideas and discuss collaboratively how they're going to be connecting what they know from the text back to these clear points. This is where they're working on one point at a time. This group has the easiest of the choices because they're always able to work between the 3 body paragraphs and choose the one they feel best suits their set of evidence. They write their evidence set and make sure you're encouraging them to have their techniques or linguistic analysis, visual techniques, depending on the text you're studying, making sure that that is all clearly outlined and written on their post-it. This means that they are clearly at evidence state or station 3. From that point, they stand up, leaving 3 post-it notes behind and move on to station 4. Station 4, they're working on their second set of evidence, which means that they're reading the 3 previous post-it notes and looking at how they can connect new evidence, different evidence, to this key body paragraph idea. It's integral at the moment that you're giving students the opportunity to engage with the text as they go so that they're able to work out how the selection of evidence and its connection back to the point they're making in their essay is really integral to answering the question. You're explicitly highlighting to students that as they work through each of these stations, they're getting the opportunity to look at how different ideas or different words can change the meaning of an essay, and that the evidence they select can't just be a one-shoe-fits-all situation. They have to modify and adapt the evidence they choose based on the point that they are arguing at the time. At this point at station 4, there should be 4 post-it notes on this page. We stand up and move to our 5th station, station number 5, which is our final evidence set. At station number 5, they're going to write their textual evidence to support the 3rd body paragraph point. So this is the final body paragraph point and gives them the essentially the bones of their essay ready to be able to write. They will need at this time at least 5 minutes because they are engaging with the work of 4 previous stations. On this 5th station, they're writing their evidence set for their final body paragraph point, which means that they should be walking away from this page with 1 post-it note on their thesis, 1 post-it note identifying 3 body paragraph points, and 3 different body paragraph or essay points with their evidence associated at that point. And it will look something along the lines of this. At this point, they head to their final station. This is station number 6. And this gives them the opportunity to look over what the previous groups have done, to refine, to add some ideas, to look at what they can expand upon, or to ask questions as we all come back together. It's really important that you don't just take these notes and give them the 1 set of essays. A really wonderful app that you are able to use is called the Post-it app. It actually allows you to take photos that recognizes handwriting of the students' Post-it notes and create a collaborative document that shares each and every set of these 6 different essay plans. Once you have all 6 essay plans clearly there, you talk through the plans with your students. You identify why the thesis statements were developed or devised. You talk about the language that's connected to them. How did the students come up with these body paragraph points? How did they connect their evidence? Was there any similarities or differences in the essay evidence that they were identifying? Because as their questions changed, some might have been relevant for all, and some might have had totally different evidence sets. So you have that opportunity to really meaningfully have a class conversation. Students are then able to use these 6 different essay plans. They're able to look at them to create or craft their own draft essay and develop their essay writing skills from there. Now, if you are someone who goes, I'm a technology only school, I do not use the traditional Post-it note form, do not worry. The Post-it app both has the digital copies. You are also able to use the app of Jamboard, where you're able to collaboratively add students to the Google document, and they're able to add to that as they go to create their essay plan. This activity should mean that students are able to walk away with 6 different essay plans that they're able to revise, refine, and start to work on drafting their first essay and have that prep done for them. Thank you.